Lunch. Oh man, another year, another draft, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's bring it.
Yeah, I see. See, we got the Eagle in here. We got a Steeler, a Falcon, a Saint, a Seahawk,
Yeah.
and more to come. We got Commanders on the horizon. We got Raiders on the horizon. So we got some stuff going on here. And then we got a couple people via satellite that make their picks too. So we're gonna have fun, y'all. Today is April 23rd. The year is 2024, and
Yeah.
we're getting ready for the draft, man. The NFL draft is in 2 days. So what we can't have an NFL draft and not have a 401 Sports World Network draft. It wouldn't be right. It just wouldn't be right, gentlemen.
That's right.
All right, so I'll introduce all you guys in a minute. Let's get the bumper going, and then we can get this party started. We got to do the disclaimer, Joe. Yes, we are here. Welcome to the 401 Sports World Network. Oh, man, these guys are something else, man. They representing their squads. But yeah, man. So we got a lot of people. We got a full building. We got a full building tonight, full show tonight. So we're gonna have our draft, and as you can see here, Brooks up in the top corner there with his dirty bird shirt on. Philly Red Zone right there with his Eagle green. We have the Saint in the middle, calculator, and Kobe Cole with his show Cole for the Low. Check him out on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and everywhere else. Kobe Cole for the Low. He's in the house. You see, he's a Steeler through and through. I know he's happy about Russell Wilson arriving in Philly. I mean, in Pennsylvania. Okay, all
Please,
right, I
no, we
see.
don't need them in Philly.
Oh,
He's in Pennsylvania. How about that? Up there in Pittsburgh. So we'll see what how that pans out and see how that affects today's draft. So the way we're doing this is we're going through the first round of the draft, ladies and gentlemen, of the NFL draft. We're going to use the order. And by the way, we did have a trade that just recently popped up too, so we updated that. And I say we, but calculator jumped all over
yeah.
it and got that draft that trade settled for us. But we're going to draft in the order that the NFL is currently set, and each one of us is going to represent a team, may represent multiple teams, but as you could tell, these guys got specific teams that they're definitely going to draft for. And the way they draft is the way they want to draft based on them being the general manager. And then we'll compare and contrast after the NFL draft. So we're going to come back and do another episode to kind of see how it turned out compared to what we think. So with that said, gentlemen, we're going to put the thing on the board. Let's get the draft board up.
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody's cool. Everybody can see.
Yep.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
Mr. For one, what's interesting about this is a lot, we do this as a fan, but we also, since we follow our teams, we also want to do, what is best for our team as a fan, so, and the things could affect, I mean, I remember last year, Brooks was throwing all these picks out there last year, messing me up on my picks. So he was, so I'm more agile this year now. I think I'm prepared in case Brooks throws any more curves my way with his Falcons pick. So, but hey, I got, and another good thing about this is we reach out to other people. For example, I'm a Saints fan, but I am real good friends with a person who is a big Bears fan. So that's why I
Hmm.
said, hey, Mr. 401, I'm going to talk to him, get who he likes, who he might get, and then put their
Yeah.
pick out there. So that's one of the reasons some of us, like myself, had multiple teams. You can't fit 50 people or, well, 32 people on the thing. So what we do is we get information from other people and bring other fans into this experience as well. So on behalf of the Windy City, I'm going to kick this off. And he said, without a doubt, and of course, this is probably
Oh,
one of the most slam dunk picks there are. Caleb Williams will be going. draft. So if you have any funds you want to bet, you got to pay a lot of juice because that's and actually a lot of casinos are actually taking this off the board because it's such a done deal. Once they pretty much did that. So yeah, if you can still find this on the board as him being the number 1 overall pick, go ahead and take it because this is about as sure as it gets.
All right, Caleb Williams goes first. And you can say that one more time, calculator, because I think I had the chime going.
Oh, so what do you want me to say? The pick, Caleb Williams,
Yeah.
quarterback,
Yes, sir.
USC.
All right. We'll get carried over that time every year.
Yeah.
All right. So Caleb Williams off the board. Anybody has any comments about that? They're pretty straightforward. Anybody?
No, that's the number 1 pick. It'll be a sin if he's not.
I know Cole for the low. What you thinking out there? All the people that follow your show and everything. Is that the talk that you're getting to? Is Caleb number 1 consensus?
Oh, he's muted.
Oh, okay. Cole, can you hear us? Cole, can you unmute?
Yeah, for the most part, sorry about that, fellas. For the most part, Caleb Williams is going for number 1 pick. Now, it has been some talks that Caleb Williams might not go number 1. We got Jaden Daniels. We got some Drake May. But I'm going to go with Caleb Williams as number 1 pick. I would say he's not my number 1 pick, and that might be a hot take. But for the most part, that is the number 1 pick. But I will say this: don't be surprised if you do get a curveball.
Ooh, okay. All right. Well, we'll see in 2 days from now. Brooks, you good with it?
I mean, if I was Caleb Williams, I wouldn't be. I mean,
career already over.
Yeah, I mean, the track. I mean, first of all, it's probably a lame duck coach. He doesn't have a contract after this year. You look at how badly they handled the Justin Fields, who, I mean, I still think has potential to be a really good quarterback, and they just didn't support him at all as far as you think about receivers, talk about his offensive line. So to me, it's not much of – I think Caleb Williams is probably the best quarterback in the draft. But to me, it's just where he's going. I mean, if I was Caleb Williams, I'd be really I don't know if I'd be happy with this.
Well, we'll put it this way: a lot of quarterbacks that get picked number 1 overall is not a good situation. That's why there's a reason these teams are picking a number 1.
Real.
But to the Bears, quick thing, they have a good right tackle. They drafted their offensive left tackle last year. Or I'm sorry, they had a good left tackle, drafted a good offensive right tackle last year. He was still young, out of 10. So they have spent capital. They got DJ Moore. Granted, contract situation is still kind of iffy right now, but they have an alpha receiver. They got Keenan Allen. Yeah, he's on the second tier of his career, but he still can get open. Top 5 defense, in my opinion, especially after that that Sweat deal last year. So yes, not an ideal situation, but more ideal than Bryson Young last year going into, yes, not a great situation, but not as bad as some of these quarterbacks have been seen in the past. So, and I think that's why, and the Bears were actually toying with trading this pick because they did like Justin Fields. They just didn't like you said. I think the lame duck situation kind of also played. It's like, hey, if we're not going to, like you said, start from scratch next year. They got the quarterback for the future. Dealt Justin Fields for basically a ham sandwich, just so that they couldn't have him in the same locker room as Caleb Williams. So, but to Colby's point, if there's a curveball, I guarantee you, if Caleb Williams is not off the board, the Washington Commanders would be happy to take Caleb Williams with the 2nd pick overall.
Man, and with that said, we about to run up on the 2nd pick.
Yep.
Shout out to Malik Sultan and DJ Wiz. And man, as a matter of fact, DJ Wiz, make sure that you post the link to your radio station because I heard some big things are going on your way with that, and we want the listeners to be able to tune in to a lot of your shows on there. But he's a West Coast guy, and he's down with Caleb, so I think he's happy that Caleb is going number 1, representing his California state. All right, let's get to the number 2 pick, and let's see what happens here, guys. Just hang tight for a second. This is probably the first pick that's going to have some real discussion here. Let's see what happens. All right, that was for the dramatic. All right, here we go.
With the second pick of the 2024 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Drake May, quarterback, University of North.
All right, did you get that pick, Drake May?
And see, I do want to comment on that to Dr. Sachs. Dr. Sachs, I had a long discussion with him, and I told him I like the Marvin's Harrison Jr. Right here at this deal because I think that, with all the quarterback Drake May, hey, love the talent, but man, he has some moments that just had you scratching your head. And then he said, "Well, make it simple, calculator. The Commanders will probably go Jaden Daniels." And then when I start looking at Jaden Daniels, a lot of comps had him actually to RG3. RG3, great first year with the Redskins until the injuries hit. And Jaden Daniels, just look at him. He's not Mr. Iron Man himself. He's gotten nicked up a lot. Playing against those SEC rugged defenses and stuff like that. So yeah, I like Jaden personally. I think they're going to go with Jaden Daniels, but hey, that's Dr. Sachs. I never questioned Dr. Sachs. He has the inside. So people, if you're on the betting line, you might want to hold off on the pick because you're going to have to pay the juice to get Jaden Daniels because he's the overall consensus. But hey, if Dr. Sachs is saying Drake May, there could be some things going on behind the scenes that we don't see.
Absolutely. All right. Anybody else want to chime in on this pick?
I think it's an okay pick. I mean, Drake May, he got a good arm. I mean, he could get the ball where you need it. The only thing is, him reading defenses and, trying not to. Hopefully, he don't try to make too many off, schedule plays and stay. If he plays within the offense, he'll be fine. I mean, he got some guys in Dotson and McLaurin. Terry McLaurin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, he got some guys on the outside that's gonna catch the ball for him. And I mean, he loved to throw the deep ball. His intermediate throwing is kind of suspect at times, but I mean, he should be good. I mean, but the Commanders line, oof. Yeah.
Yeah, just ask Sam how things were last year.
Yeah, so hey man, getting that ice bath now.
Yeah, get it ready.
All right.
Yeah, to me, you got to remember, he probably didn't have the numbers people expected to have last year, but he also, his receiving corps just got decimated. He had two NFL receivers on the season before, and then he just had a whole new squad. So you got to take that into account. There's probably some adjustment there. You're talking about the Washington offensive line. Well, he took 29 sacks last season. So that might show propensity. Maybe he's staying in the pocket too long. His pocket presence maybe need to be refined, and he's not going into the best situation there. So let's keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. We moving on?
So,
all right, calculator.
And
to number 3.
Hey, and with this pick, there's basically, folks, there's a big 3 when we're looking at this year's draft when it comes to quarterbacks. And guess what? The top 3 picks need quarterbacks based on their situation. So I think with May going, because that's who the New England Patriots were looking at, because what they're looking at is they're looking at upside. They have the competent backup quarterback in Zappe already on the roster. So they need a guy with upside. That's why a lot of people were talking about J.J. McCarthy as this. I don't think J.J. McCarthy is really – he's definitely not as talented as Drake May. He's definitely not as talented as Caleb Williams. He's one of those guys. He's a system quarterback. If he has a good coach, a good system around him. J.J. McCarthy can thrive. Sorry, the Patriots does not have the good supporting cast. So I think they're going to go with the upside quarterback. And since Drake May's not on there, Jaden Daniels falls to him. So I think that's when Washington will make him zig. The Patriots are going to zag, and they're going to take Jaden Daniels. They need a quarterback, and that's the quarterback of the future. And Jaden Daniels will be a Patriots if Drake May goes 2. Now, if the Commanders pick 2, New England Patriots will still sit, play Joe Cool, and then they'll get – basically, the Patriots are going to get the quarterback of the big 3 that falls to them at number 3.
The one thing I'm wondering, if the 2 quarterbacks go and, well, I mean, the Patriots – now I know Bill Belichick's not there, but they were the kings of trading back. You look at a team like Minnesota, I mean, that would be – I mean, I think they would get a lot of offers there at 3 to trade back, and just given their history, which, again, maybe nothing because Belichick's gone. I mean, it seems like there might be somebody offer them a lot to trade up and get that 3rd quarterback, since we do have that upper echelon at the top 3.
And it's interesting, Brooks. I've been hearing trade talks on that, and the asking price for Minnesota, for example, the Patriots are wanting their 2 first-round picks, and the Patriots want that next year's first-round pick. And that's where Minnesota is saying, whoa, we might be able to trade to 5, which we have in this mock draft. We only have to give the first 2-round picks to move up to number 5. Granted, we think there's a big drop off. In my opinion, there's a big drop off between Jane Daniels and May to J.J. McCarthy. But I think the Vikings really don't want to give up that second, which in reality would be a 3rd first-round pick to trade up to get one of the big 3 quarterbacks. But yes, there have been trades, but Patriots are kind of, from what I'm understanding, is asking a little too much for people to move up to that 3rd spot. So if nobody gives them and the Patriots is one of those, hey, you give us what we want, or we're just going to go ahead and take what we take the pick there.
I agree. I think Drake May is actually going to go 3, and I think Jaden Daniels is going to go 2. But in that top 3, though, whoever doesn't go that 2nd spot, if Caleb Williams do go that 1st, don't go that 2nd spot, just going to fall down to New England. But I also do agree with Mr. Brooks. New England can trade back, and there's plenty of people that either have first-time quarterbacks, sophomore quarterbacks, don't have a quarterback, and the Patriots can trade. So we can't be looking at a New England Patriots trading back, somebody jumping forward. So it's all hidden there.
The only thing I'll say with the trades is watch out for the Raiders. There is a pedigree and a history between Pierce, the Raiders' new head coach, and Daniels. I think he coached him. I forgot what level. I don't know if it was high school or he a stint in college. I know Pierce was at Arizona State. So, but they do have a history, and I know the Raiders has been in contact with the Patriots on about trying to move up. Now I don't know if the Patriots want to drop all the way down to 12, depending on how to where they are so far as trying to accumulate picks, because they need a whole roster overhaul. So
yeah.
The more picks, the better for Gerard Mayo being a new head coach. So that could be a shocker that the Raiders make a big move to get their guy. Oh, sorry, I thought my camera was on.
It's all right. We knew the voice. The one and only voice of Philly Red Zone. But yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Where we at next, Joe?
Arizona.
Number 4.
Man, it's not hard to say who's going to be number 4. In my eyes, he was the number 1 overall pick. But number 4, Mr. HOF himself, future HOF himself.
Oh my
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, and I agree totally with that, because they said, and this was when they had Marvin Harrison Jr., Garrett Wilson, and Jackson Smith-Njigba. They still said Marvin Harrison Jr. was the best wide receiver. And
Yeah,
those are other 2 first-round wide receivers that are in
Yeah.
the NFL. So, yes, and let me tell you, Arizona Cardinals, that's why a lot of people talk about Arizona Cardinals. There's no way Kyler Murray is going to say trade down. They finally got their tackle last year in Hilton, and now they got some protection, and now they can get one of the best wide receivers to come out of college in the past, 6-7 years. Like you said, any other time you don't have these quarterbacks going, Marvin Harrison would have been one of the first wide receivers to ever be drafted number 1 overall, just because he has that much talent. I mean, we saw he literally could carry a team, because I'm sorry, that quarterback for Ohio State this past year, not that good. But Marvin Harrison Jr. seemed like he was open the whole time. And just think what happened. And Brooks can back us up. He got hurt when he got hurt in that Georgia game 2 years ago, when that was that CJ Stroud. That changed the complexion of that game as well. Because
legal hit, by the way.
Yeah, it was illegal.
But still, I mean, he just shows he is one of those guys that he's a wide receiver that can really turn a quarterback. And I'm telling you, fantasy football players, that has piqued my interest when it comes to Kyler Murray, to finally have a receiver like a Marvin Harrison Jr. He's going to be salivating. He's going to be toasting on draft day when Marvin Harrison Jr. When they call his name at number 4.
All right, man. What we got next?
The Minnesota. Oh, folks, this is where we had the trade come through. So just so people can follow along, that our trades that we heard this is where Minnesota finally gets a team to bite. So they are trading the San Diego Chargers were at number 5. We have them trading the number 5 pick to the Minnesota Vikings. So the Minnesota Vikings had two first round picks this year. So Minnesota is trading their 11th and their 23rd pick overall to move up to the 5 spot. And the reason they're making that trade is they see that, we talk about the big 3, and then they said there's that other quarterback that kind of is in a tier of himself after the big 3. And then after this guy, there's another drop off. So Minnesota doesn't take a chance, because word on the street is the Giants is eyeing a quarterback. So the Vikings have to get ahead of the Giants, whether it's the Patriots. Patriots wanted too much, but they found a willing partner in the Chargers. So they jump ahead of the Giants so that they can draft the guy that's right next the board in J.J. McCarthy. So that's why the trade is they got to get that quarterback before the Giants pick. So we have the Vikings jumping ahead of the Giants and picking J.J. McCarthy with the 5th pick.
Wow.
All right. Damn, that's going to be a solid pick.
Who's the player comp for JJ?
Ooh.
I checked with Thor, a guy named Thor Nystrom. He's a draft expert for Fantasy Pros, and he comps J.J. McCarthy with Rich Gannon. For those back in the day.
Wow, throwback.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So for those people
Damn.
that know
Rich Gannon?
Rich Gannon.
I'm looking at I'm looking at the comp on this website.
He was a late bloomer.
It's Curtin Cousins.
So that's who one of the guys I followed compared J.J. McCarthy to. So no Rich Gannon. And hey, Rich Gannon took those Raiders to the Super Bowl. Had old Jerry Rice out there running routes for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like 42 years old though.
If you
Well, he'll definitely be rich.
You would hear something really funny. One of the guys I'm looking at compares him to Kirk Cousins. So the guy he's replacing. So.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay. So they want to keep that tradition going. Okay. But he's definitely going to be rich. And so get nothing else out of that comp. He'll be rich.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, all right. Any other comments there before we move to the next one? All right. Keep us going, calculate.
All right.
Oh, go ahead. Who's that, Cole?
I think JJ McCarthy's a sleeper quarterback in the draft. A lot of people have been like doubting him,
Yeah.
and we do got 3 great quarterbacks going 1, 2, and 3. But I'm just saying this now. Don't be surprised if JJ McCarthy goes to a team and take them a very long way with the right pieces.
Oh,
And I
and that's
think,
perfect. And that's why this would be a perfect landing spot for JJ McCarthy.
yeah,
He's got O'Connell, offensive mind coach, from great offensive mind, one of the best receivers in Justin Jefferson on the other side of the ball. He's got, a decent offensive line, decent running game, solid defense with Flores running that great defensive scheme that can keep him in games. So as far as landing spot, JJ McCarthy would love for the Vikings to move up to come and get him and put him in their situation. So do you guys want to go to the next pick?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So
So
we got the Giants.
yeah, the Giants, and see, this is why the Giants have to have a backup plan because they like I said, they're picking 6, and they said, hey, one of those top 4 can fall to us. Not if the Vikings do make that trade. So this is where they go with their second string. So I say, okay, we need another alpha receiver. Hyatt was the guy we drafted last year to kind of just come in and be the deep threat. Now we need a guy that can go, kind of like middle of the route. So this is why, they said we talk about the big 3 wide receivers. There's a big 3 quarterback. There is a big 3 wide receivers in my opinion. Personally, Marvin Harrison Jr.'s on tier of his own. But after that, there's another 2. And I think that's why the Giants are going to say, okay, plan B. And that's what I think I have it on my sheet.
Oh, I think I know who you're going with.
That's
I got a
right.
name in my mind.
The guy,
Is he a Tiger?
He is a Tiger. That's right. Malik Neighbors,
Yes,
wide
sir.
receiver for the LSU Tigers, a consensus number 2 wide receiver on the board. New York Giants, like I said, they kind of falls to them where they wanted that quarterback. They wanted JJ McCarthy, but Minnesota Vikings has that draft capital to move up right in front of them. But hey, they're not going to pay it because, hey, not a bad consolation prize. They say Neighbors possesses the run and catch type ability that a Debo Samuel or a DJ Moore has. So they have the deep threat guy that they drafted last year in Hyatt, but they really hadn't had that run and catch receiver since their Odell Beckham Jr. Back in the day. So that's what they kind of want to get back to. So, and hey, if people remember, Odell Beckham from LSU did them pretty good for a couple of years. So they're going to go back to the well, in my opinion. And I think the Giants will say, okay, plan B, Malik Neighbors, wide receiver, LSU.
That's an excellent pick, by the way, guys. That's an excellent pick. That's an exciting pick. That's going to be one that's going to pay some great dividends there for the Giants. Lacey Dawson will love that calculator.
Yeah,
for those who don't know who Lacey Dawson is, she's on our fantasy football show.
She will not be disappointed in that pick. I assure you.
I got a feeling she's going to try to draft him this year, too. I'm already making notes. I'm already got that in my little note in the war room. All right, so let's see what's cracking in Tennessee, and after that, we get to hear from Brooks.
That's right. And with this one, this is one of the things where Tennessee says, okay, it just lines up too far because everybody's drafting for need, not several. So what does Tennessee need the most? They need a left tackle. Well, there's one guy who's one of the top left tackles in this year's draft, and let me put him on the board. No, that's not it didn't type over. Joe Alt, offensive tackle, Notre Dame. They say he's older, and now he gets to learn on the offensive line. Bill Callahan for Tennessee, they put it this way: last season's left tackle duo for Tennessee yielded 29 of 64 total sacks allowed. So that's almost half of the sacks there. So you're going to pair Alt with left guard Peter Skoronski, who we said Tennessee was going to draft him last year because they needed help on the offensive line. So that is going to be, you have Alt at left tackle. You have Peter Skoronski at left guard. That is Will Levis's blind side. So they're going to be able to protect his blind side. The young left side of that line, they're going to solidify it because they got a young quarterback they're going to try and develop. So I think they're going left tackle. And right now, all reports is showing that Joe Alt for Notre Dame is the top graded left tackle in this year's draft.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great pick, man. I was hoping he fall to another team, but
I was too.
I was wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was talk that the Saints have actually been talking to the Bears, and this was my conversation with the Bears fan that I talked to. There was talk that if Joe Alt would happen to fall past Tennessee, past the Falcons, that's the Bears could actually trade back because the guy who they're looking at would be available at the 14th pick, whereas the Saints need a left tackle. So that's a pick. However, I think Tennessee isn't going to allow that to happen because I think Tennessee needs that left tackle as well. So that's why Joe Alt will be off the board. So then that's when the Saints will hang up the phone with the Bears.
That'd be a big click.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
All
cool.
right.
Joe Alt dad played for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, he's
got
a
that
pedigree
NFL
kid.
pedigree. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
6'9", 321. He's a big human being.
The mountain.
Oh yeah.
He's a mountain. I mean, good gracious. There was no alternative than for Tennessee to take Alt.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm telling you, I'm excited about this upcoming pick though.
Oh, I am too. Hey,
Yeah.
if there's a person that's dialed into the Falcons leadership, it's the show doing his thing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what the Brooks has, especially since he messed me up last year with some of his picks. So the man's dialed in though, so I give him that.
Yeah, and before he makes that pick, check him out on the Football Sports Network. He has a couple episodes out there called Case Closed, where he dives deep into the Atlanta sports. And there's some great episodes on there. He talks about Trey Young and where he thinks he should land. He talks about the Falcons, about the draft and who he thinks they should have signed and not signed, things like that. So if you want that details, and then the Braves are with their season cooking right now. So stay in tune with us, man. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and check out Case Closed by Brooks Case. All right, Case, laid it out there for you.
All right. So interesting here because if we talked about the three big receivers, if Malik Neighbors is still on the board here at 8, I mean, I think the Falcons will be fielding a lot of calls to trade up and get this guy. So wouldn't be surprised here if Neighbors or not Neighbors, Roma Dunze out of Washington, because Neighbors already went. Well, if one of them are on the board for them to trade out, because again they're highly thought of and they're that one tier of receiver. So wouldn't be surprised if they did that. The Falcons notoriously do not draft. They've needed pass rushes for the last 20 years and notoriously don't draft it or draft it well. So you look at – I just don't think you're getting the value at pass rusher here. I do like Latu out of UCLA, but he had a severe neck injury and was told to medically retire from football. So I think that's too risky a pick at 8. I like Dallas Turner. I don't think he is the edge rusher that Latu is, and I also think you can trade back for Dallas Turner. So I think that'd be a little bit of a reach here. One thing that the Falcons do need is a corner alongside AJ Terrell, and I think there's a consensus best corner in this draft. So I'm going to take Terrion Arnold out of Alabama here.
Wow.
Okay.
Good pick.
Now, I'm going to play a little devil's advocate on there because not devil's advocate. I mean, like I said, I personally think the top cornerback is Keon Mitchell out of Toledo.
Yeah.
But I like Arnold's in the fact that with, what was it, 6 interception, 20 pass breakups. He's very physical. So I think that, that would be a solid cornerback. He's definitely, because we talk about big threes, big two, there is top 2 cornerbacks. And then after the top 2, everyone drops down. So yeah, they would have their pick of top cornerbacks, but I definitely like that pick. For the Falcons. Oh, well, I don't like it as a Saints fan, of course, because we play them twice a year.
Right.
But yeah, and that works out good for the Bears. But is there any other comments for Terry and Arnold, Brooks, you'd like to bring up?
No, I mean, and you think about, we got the new coach, and what's his specialty? He's a DB guy. So I think that just lends you even more. He may like Mitchell over Arnold. I just like the pedigree of having somebody from Alabama. So if they're close like that in rankings, I'd pick the guy with the pedigree. But I think, like I said, I think Latu is a top 10 talent, like as far as big board. But I just think the neck injury is going to spook him off that spot. And like I said, if the draft plays out like this, I really do think they'll trade back and let somebody come up and grab one of those receivers. But I think staying put, the best value is that cornerback.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, because a lot of mocks do have them going, Latua, but again, that's a big pick for a question mark, because a lot of people are doing comps with Latua. They're comparing him to Jalen Phillips. People remember Jalen Phillips had a real serious injury before he got drafted, and he wasn't even able to play that next year. So people had to wait for him to get in and develop, in kind of the same situation. But yeah, I agree with you. You're right though. If he was fully healthy and stuff, he would probably be the pick there as well. But yeah, you really can't go wrong with stockpiling cover corners, especially a guy like who's as physical as Arnold. He don't mind stepping into the line to stop the rush as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you look at when Jalen Carter was slipping and he had those type of questions, and they passed on him. So I think they're just going to be overly cautious here and not pick the guy with a neck injury. So.
All right, cool. Big shout out here to from OG $2. He says, "What up, players?" OG $2, what's up? I made sure I subscribe to his page, guys. He's got some great stuff out there. Check out OG $2 on YouTube when you get a chance. Doing big things out there, and he's a big supporter of what we're doing here. Also a big supporter of Cole from the Low. So OG $2, big shout out. All right, Brooks. I know you got a plane to catch or anything. If not, feel free to hang around until you have to get to your next board meeting there. I know the Falcons got a lot of things going on. And Cole, anything you got? You're in the Atlanta area. How do you feel about this move right here by GM Brooks?
I like the move. AJ Terrell, love the guy. He is getting a little older though, but if you want to keep AJ Terrell right there, you is going to need another corner on that backside to help him out. So I like Terry and Arnold. It might be another cornerback out there, but hey, also Alabama fan right here, so I can't complain about the pick. I think he's going to be pretty good going forward. Georgia team like taking Alabama players for some reason, but I ain't gonna say too much. If you can't beat them,
right? Oh boy, the shots are firing even in the offseason. With Alabama and Georgia, SEC. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
Where we at now?
We're at the Bears, and again, and Brooks made a very good case, because the Bears are definitely watching this pick because they have their other pick already in. So if there is no trade, they are definitely going to add and help Caleb Williams out. So they're going to draft right before the teardrop in the wide receiver, and Brooks already mentioned his name, Rome Odunze.
Oh.
That's right. Wide receiver Washington. Let me tell you, folks, that guy. I mean, people probably watched more Washington games this year than any other year because they were on TV a lot this year for their undefeated season. They go to the playoffs. Yeah, granted, you had to stay up late to watch the game because they were on the West Coast. But Aduze was he was a great. He could run intermediate routes. He could run deep routes. Had sticky hands. And let me tell you, Caleb Williams. And you can say, hey, calculator. The Bears got Keenan Allen. They got DJ Moore. Well, DJ Moore has to rework his contract. Keenan Allen is not a young Keenan Allen, so they have to draft a guy that could be an alpha receiver, and Oduze is that. So yeah, when I talked to Windy City, I said, Windy City, I said, who would you rather have? Would you have probably one of the top edge rushers? Because hey, if you look at the board, all the edge rushers are available. But again, the guy from UCLA is hurt. The other guy, Turner, he's kind of a little high for his pedigree. So hey, he said, give me the wide receiver, give me that top one of the big 3 wide receivers this year, and I'll be happy. So yes, Windy City would be thrilled to add Aduze to the roster.
All right, very good. And look, Malik Sultan is signing off on that too. Really good pick. That guy's the truth. I'm telling you, man.
Yes.
This draft right here, man, and I can't wait to compare and contrast after the NFL draft on Thursday. Well, Thursday and Friday? Are they gonna do the whole round on Thursday, guys?
Yep, the whole first round's on Thursday.
All right, yeah. So we can sit there and compare and contrast there. But yeah, we are doing great. We're rolling, man. So what we at next, calculator?
It's your pick. The Jets at number 10.
All right. Well, guess what? I'm obviously the Jets are not my team, but I'm filling in for a Jets fan.
That's right.
I got no input from that Jets fan either. And so we're just going to go ahead and wing it. But I believe with a quarterback with the name of Aaron Rodgers coming back and with a team that already has a very good defense, I think they can add another weapon. Their tight end position last year, it was average at best. At best, maybe average.
Yes.
A guy named Conklin at tight end. So let's upgrade that and with the pick for the Jets at number 10. The New York Jets select Georgia Bulldog Brock Bowers at tight end.
So, yeah, I love. You didn't really need much input because, like you said, the Jets got the defense. They have Aaron Rodgers. Hopefully, they could go offensive tackle in this situation as well. But this is a deep draft at offensive line, so they're probably saying, "Hey, we can get another offensive lineman for depth because all the starters are already entrenched." So it's like, hey, get the best player on the board. Brock Bowers. Whoever watches Georgia Bulldogs know, hey, if you watch college football, everybody knows how good Brock Bowers is. So I don't think that's a hard pick. I think Lacey would be thrilled with this pick because, she's a Giants fan and she's a Jets fan. She's a Jets fan first. So, she would be really happy with this pick. So I think you made Lacey proud, Mr. 401, with the Brock Bowers.
Wow. Pick. Man. And now how do I do that, calculator? So, so it's a good thing there. But yeah, Brock Bowers, I think that's a good fit. Anybody else have any comments on that before we slide to the Chargers?
I think it's a solid pickup. I mean, Brock, the kid is a stud, and he's gonna help Garrett Wilson out in that keeping that middle of the field occupied. So. And then he got Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. I mean, that's going to be a good situation for the Jets.
Oh, guess what? We got some flexing going on too here.
He had to do it.
So big shout out to the Larry Stone Cold. He just appears out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, all of a sudden, hey, didn't even ring the doorbell this time, Mr. Foreman. Usually he's delivering the pizza. But now he's just popping in.
Yeah, he's delivering his JD Lamps 401 Sports World Fantasy Football Trophy for this past season. And so congratulations there, Larry Stone Cold. you watch Georgia Bulldogs football. You like this pick?
I do watch Georgia Bulldogs. Everybody loves
Yeah.
Georgia Bulldogs.
Oh well. Do you like this pick?
Yeah, it's a very decent pick. Oh yeah.
All right.
Jets will need a tight end.
All right. So it makes sense there. Okay, we made that make sense. Antoine's next on the board for the Los Angeles Chargers. But what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do a group effort here and get this one done. So let's just lay it on out there. I mean, was there anybody out there in particular that had an interest in the Chargers and want to make
Yeah,
this pick?
and one of the reasons they traded now, the Chargers really wanted Brock Bowers. Jim Harbaugh loves Brock Bowers, so I think he traded back to the 11th spot, thinking Bowers would fall to him. So I think he's going to be a little upset that Bowers went 10. So what he's going to do, he's going to say, "Hey, we need another." Hey, what does Harbaugh love to do? Look at his Michigan teams. He just loved to ground and pound, right? So hey, what do? You already have Rashawn Slater, so you got your left tackle solidified. But hey, let's go to right tackle. Let's get a guy that can play, on the right side a little bit. So I personally think they are going to go with Talise Fuaga for offensive tackle, Oregon State. Hey, yeah, he's not the best overall lineman still available, but he is the best right tackle. Okay, 6'6", 324 pounds. I mean, and he can just road grade people, and I think that's what Jim Harbaugh loves out of offensive linemen. So that's why I think he's going. A lot of people have J.C. Latham, the offensive tackle at Alabama at this pick, but I don't see it. I think because J.C. Latham is more experienced on the left side. So that's why I think they're going to get kind of like the Bears did last year when they drafted the guy out of Tennessee. They wanted a guy specifically at right tackle. So that's why I think they're not going to get the best offensive lineman on the board. They're going to get the best right tackle on the board. So that's why I think they'll go with the offensive lineman out of Oregon State. Yeah, and let me try his name again. Talise Fuaga.
Solid pick. I ain't even gonna lie. I had him higher than Joe Ott, but he's in the first round. So.
And again, the reason the Tennessee Titans probably wouldn't go with him is again because the Titans need more of a left center. So that the Titans are going Joe Alt, J.C. Latham, but when you need a right tackle, Talise Fuaga is definitely the guy you want.
Well, I had him on my board for the Seahawks, so
yeah, you gotta do
you can
something.
see right there. You see right there, look down there right below Larry. You see that?
Yeah.
See, I had this guy ready to go. And see, I circled right tackle, But anyway. So you see what we're doing here already.
At least you were doing your homework.
Hey, Mr. 41, you can blame your own pick of Brock Bowers because that would have been the Chargers' pick if he was available. So.
Well, hey, there you go. It's a domino effect, but that's the draft, right? Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's keep this thing rolling. Let's back to you, calculated Denver, and then Malik is going to pick for the Raiders after
let me tell you, they have a glaring need at quarterback. So a lot of people are talking about Penix. A lot of people, and more importantly, a lot of people are talking about Bo Nix because Bo Nix is a Drew Brees clone, right? What is Sean Payton call? He likes the short intermediate pass. That's why him and Russell Wilson was not a good fit. Russell Wilson was more of a deep passer, beautiful deep ball, spotty on intermediate and short pass. But Bo Nix they're looking at him hard, but I just don't think Denver wants to spend a top 15 pick on the number 5 quarterback in this draft. So I think they're just going to take the best available player. kind of like an edge rusher. So I think they're going edge rusher. And again, I think they're going to pass over the UCLA product because I think we're going to see Latu, who is really the consensus overall number one edge rusher, getting pushed down the board because of that neck injury. So I think the next best guy, Dallas Turner out of Alabama, that edge rusher out of Alabama. I think Denver really wants to hit on having a top 15 pick, and you can't have too many edge rushers that can help Patrick Surtain, and again they'll be looking at cornerback as well. They are going to be looking at the Toledo product, Mitchell, but I think they're going to they still like Surtain enough that they of course it'd be great to have two lockdown cornerbacks. But again, I think they just want to put more pressure on the quarterback right now. And they love Bo Nix. They just think that pick would be too high for Bo Nix. So I think they'll go and just get the best edge rusher still available on the board and go with Dallas Turner, edge rusher out of Alabama. And Mr.
Dallas Turner?
I think, Dallas Turner, edge rusher out of Alabama. Yeah. He's on the board.
Okay, very good. All right, so just getting my, we're in the real world over here too, so we got to regroup now that we lost our line.
Hey, you got a few more picks to go now.
Now it really does feel like fantasy football now.
Working the phones now.
Yeah, we trying to pull a trade now.
I got you.
We got to figure out a way to pull a trade.
How I felt last year when Brooks was taking all my players off the pick. So,
hey man, this don't feel too good. Howie Roseman ready to trade with Seattle.
Nope. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Well, I know it's time for Malik to make his pick for the Raiders. The Raiders, and he's a huge Raider fan, California guy. You heard him. You saw him earlier when we posted out there because he was celebrating with that Caleb Williams going number one. Malik, DJ Wiz. Check him out now. He's a busy man, but check him out. He's everywhere, and we got to get his information too for because he's now on iHeartRadio as well, and so we're gonna share the love about his network as soon as we get all that information. But DJ Wiz, check him out. There's his information. You can catch him on Facebook. You can catch him on YouTube. DJ Wiz, the man is he's the man with the plan right now, and he's also the man that's about to make the selection for the Las Vegas Raiders. Oh man, I almost gave away my age there. All right, so with the Las Vegas Raiders pick. So listen up, everybody.
In the 2024 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Michael Penix.
Oh. So this is who DJ Wiz has selected. He brought the band in and everything. All right. So Raiders fans are so dramatic. But yeah, they he brought in he's picking Penix, gentlemen. So what do you think?
Solid pick. I mean, Penix, he's a lefty. But the kid, he showed that he had poise in the pocket. He's athletic. Strong arm, pretty accurate quarterback. I know the receivers out there is going to be pretty excited that he can actually get them the ball without getting them killed, Yep. So, and then, just overall good football player. He's a tough guy. I know he dealt with some injuries early in his collegiate career, but making that transfer from, I believe he was at Indiana, going out to Washington was the best thing for him, and he learned how to play quarterback, and became a better, passer to football, because out in Indiana, they run the ball a lot out there. So, but I like the pick.
Any injury concerns, gentlemen?
No,
Well,
I mean the
I
Raiders got a
mean,
solid line.
All right.
and I mean, and you know, and even though he got banged around some last year, he still showed he could play through injury, yeah, if needed. So yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, yeah, I can't fault the pick, and that would be typical Raiders. You know, they need a quarterback.
Yeah.
So they're gonna feel a need. I have them actually going offensive line, so I would be thrilled if they go that because I actually have the next pick as a Saints fan.
Oh.
You know, so that and see if they had went offensive line because you know I think if the Raiders, I think one reason they would go to Penix is because the Raiders do have their eye on Fuga for Oregon State,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
as you see in this draft, he went to the Chargers, so he was off the board. So what? And then in my opinion, the Saints need a left tackle. And the best left tackle still on the board. And people might say, hey, JC Latham still. Latham actually played more right tackle. He can play right tackle, left tackle. Well, everybody saw that left tackle for the Saints was a disaster last year. And the guy that filled in because the guy they drafted 2 years ago just hadn't panned out, Penning. So we're not going to worry about him. So we're going to just go straight left tackle. And this guy, Mel Kiper, loves the guy. He's a young guy. Let me see. He checks he was a team captain for the Penn State Nittany Lions. Okay, did not allow a sack in 12 starts for Penn State. And folks, yes, they played Indiana. Yes, they played Illinois. But you know what? They also played Michigan. They also played Ohio State. So they did have some good pressure guys going that he went up against, and he allowed 0 sacks. So I will try to pronounce his name, and I apologize if I get it wrong.
I give you $1, you get it right.
Yeah. You can keep $1. Alumayiwa Fashuana. Fashuanu. There's a new at the end. But yeah, bottom line, he was the offensive left tackle for Penn State. So yeah, Trevor Penning did not hadn't panned out as a starter. They had to, that's why they moved Andrus Peat on the left side of the Saints last year. Andrus Peat has left, and Andrus Peat wound up being the best offensive line for the Saints last year. And then Ryan Ramczyk is battling knee issues. However, he's been cleared, so he could stay on that right side. And then, hey, Fashuano, he can start right away. And the good thing is he's young, so he's only going to get better. Mel Kiper actually had him in August when he did his early ranks. Actually had him number 3 overall. He's fell down a little, but I don't know how you fall down a draft board. Well, the reason you fall down a draft board is because all these quarterbacks start shooting up draft boards, and all these other people start shooting up. The guy is still the same as he was in August. The only difference between August and now is he allowed 0 sacks for the Penn State Lions. So yes, the New Orleans Saints would be loving if that offensive tackle from Penn State falls to them at number 14.
Yeah, that's excellent. And man, let's go ahead and do this. Earl, calculate. I think you have that pick, right? Earl submitted that selection.
He did. Earl, and like I said, folks, y'all got to get. I'm going to give 4-1 and the production team some credit. They working the phones. They getting all these picks in. So let me see. He's going. I gotta find him on my other board.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we definitely were working these phones and everything, the fax machine and everything. I mean, there was picks coming in from everywhere.
So I gotta go.
Did you check that Commodore 64 calculator?
Yeah. We're going with Chop Robinson, edge rusher, out of Penn State.
Wow.
Is who you're going. Chop Robinson, folks. He's a boomer bust product. His get off explosiveness, the production in college wasn't there with just 11.5 sacks in 3 seasons, but when he is on, he can be electric. So yes, we're going to go with Chop Robinson for Penn State. For the Indianapolis Colts, because they definitely need help rushing the passer.
Wow.
All
Oh
right.
man, that's a good
Any
pickup.
comments there?
It's a good pickup, but I think it's a little early for Chop. Chop is raw, man. Like you said, he's boom or bust. I mean, he could give you a good game, and then you won't hear from him from 5 games. I mean, especially at the next level.
And I agree with that. I would mostly prefer Jared Verse for Florida
Yeah.
State off the edge. But I'm a Florida State fan too, so that could be a
Oh.
bias coming out of me. So hey, I just gotta go with Earl's pick.
Oh yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. I'm just a little shocked there. I mean, in this spot, I think if I'm the Colt fan, which I'm not, Latu, I mean, I gotta take the risk now. I mean, we had pick what? What pick we had? I'm on
15.
my phone. I'm sorry, guys.
15.
We had pick 15. Yeah, Latu, man. You gotta, that's the seasoned pass rusher. I know he got the injury history, but man, you gotta roll the dice with that guy at 15. Especially if you're going pass rusher, him and Verse, and then Chop, And I think we could squeeze one more pass rusher. Well, Dallas Turner already went, so yeah, those guys are way ahead of Chop, but that's who they picked.
Hey, and that's why we do this,
Yes, sir.
So.
Yep, absolutely. All right, who's next, calculator?
Oh, we know who's next. The guy who's been working phones after his guy was taken. There he is.
Fan, please.
He picked up the gear for the pick, folks. He picked up the gear.
Don't say the name.
Well, I probably won't. We had to change gears here, and so what we're gonna do here in Seattle, we do need we need some help on defense. We do, and you mentioned this guy earlier, calculator. He's one of the guys on to play for your favorite team, Florida State. So we are gonna go to a new verse here in Seattle,
Okay.
and we're gonna take verse. So edge rusher. We need help there. I wanted the lineman, but he's gone, the one that I wanted. And so what we're gonna switch gears and put some pressure on the quarterback for a change. So we're gonna take a chance with Verse.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Like I said, me and Philly, we were talking about him thinking he would go to the Colts. So hey, I think the Seahawks, if they were looking at edge rusher, that's definitely the way to go. Verse is definitely, in my opinion, one of the. Well, you still have the guy from UCLA, but I guess Seattle don't want to take the chance, So, but hey guys, everybody out there, it's only been sunshine and rainbows with Latu's medicals. So he could rise by the time Thursday hits here, folks, because there's been no negative things. But yeah, you don't want to mess with a neck injury. Just look at Peyton Manning. Those neck injuries, when you start, you never know. All it takes is that one hit. Oh, granted, that could happen to anybody. But when you're an edge rusher, that's definitely a scary injury to have to try and come back from.
Yeah. And some people might be wondering why 411 has on what is it, a skull cap right now in April. But for Georgia, man, it's been cold the last 2 days.
Oh, so it has. I turned on the heater, Mr. 411, last night.
Oh, you did too? Okay, yeah.
Well, I have some company, so I enjoy it cold, but my company does not enjoy it cold, so I had to make sure they were comfortable. So.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on down here, but yeah. So might as well wear it while I can, because in about a day or two it's going to be 90 degrees again. So there we go with that.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. Now Colby is not too far down the line. I know he's been patient, big Steelers guy. So we got 3 picks in between there. So if we can knock those 3 out real quick,
absolutely,
on the speed round,
Jacksonville,
get to Colby.
Yeah,
and then we'll be right there with Randy.
Yeah, and we want to knock it out quick. The Jacksonville Jaguars, in my opinion, is just going to take the best player on the board, and a guy that I thought would have gone to the Falcons as the first cornerback on the board. But I think they're just going to take Jacksonville's going best player on the board. So they're going to go with Keon Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo, folks. He finished as Pro Football Focus's highest graded cornerback. back-to-back seasons. That is including last season as well. So yeah, I think this is a slam dunk pick. Jacksonville wants a corner. Jacksonville actually has Terry on their board, but hey, surprise, surprise, in this draft, Terrion Arnold was the first cornerback taken. So Jacksonville and it gets to say, hey, thank you very much. And they will take a quarterback. GM Trent Balk loves targeting defensive backs, the GM for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So he will be salivating if Keon Mitchell is still on the board at number 17. So that's an easy pick for the Jaguars.
Yeah. Can I say one thing? And
Sure.
This is a biased opinion. If this board falls this way, do not be surprised. 22 and 53 is traded so we can get Keon Mitchell in Philly. That's all I'm gonna say, because
Okay.
that kid is a stud. That's I was nervous with Seattle's picking, but Jacksonville took him. So
yeah, Jacksonville's going to take one of the two top quarterbacks if they're
they
available.
are.
Now they're going to go elsewhere after that. They might help the offensive line if both those cornerbacks are off the board. But one of two cornerbacks, Jacksonville's definitely a target.
Yeah,
Either
those guys are good.
Yeah.
We got Kobe Bryant out there in Seattle.
Okay. Yeah. And if you want, I can go with the next pick. This is another slam dunk. I mean, everything's falling on the board right now. And for the Cincinnati Bengals, we talked about, they're going to target offensive line. Trent Brown is not the answer long-term for the Cincinnati Bengals at right tackle. We talked a little about J.C. Latham. He played a lot at right tackle. And so I think that's who the Bengals are going to target. Now, Latham, and the good thing about Latham, he can play left or right tackle, but they're going to target him mainly for right tackle. So I think the Cincinnati is going to take one of the best offensive linemen still on the board that specifies right tackle. And I think Cincinnati Bengals will go with J.C. Latham, offensive tackle.
All right. That's solid pick. Solid pickup.
Yeah, and I think that would be great for Burrow. So another lineman and another solid line. To hopefully Cincinnati get right back to put up those numbers like they did.
Yeah. Yeah, they need Burrow for that, man.
Yeah.
All the fantasy football struggled last year with Jamar Chase.
Absolutely. All right, we got one more pick for Kobe Johnson on.
All right, and the Rams. I'll go with the Rams if you want to, Mr. Ford. I don't want to hog the show. But if people follow the Rams, who recently retired from the Rams on the defensive line?
I think somebody named Donald.
Yes, thank you very much. I think a very, very big name. So they're going to, I think, try and rebolster that. And the best tackle in this year's draft, in my opinion, on the board is a guy out of Texas, Byron Murphy II. They're going to be surprised if he's still on the board at this pick. They were actually eyeing a wide receiver to help Cooper Kupp getting old. So they were looking at wide receiver, but to see if Byron Murphy II, the way this board's fallen, they're going to say, hey, that's to help, the Donald absence. It definitely isn't going to fill the hole. You can't fill a Hall of Famer right away, but you can at least try and put a Band-Aid on the situation. So that's what I think they'll come back, try and help that line out and pick what is one of the top defensive tackles on the board, and Byron Murphy II.
Yeah,
I like it.
Solid pickup, man. 3-tech, man. That guy, feet, lateral movement, speed, point of contact. The guy's an ox, man. You can't move him off the line. Exactly. And I mean, the Rams will definitely enjoy watching that kid play and mature.
And I know the Rams were a little worried that the Seahawks might have been eyeing him, because I know the Seahawks is looking, Mike Macdonald as a new head coach for the Seahawks. And I'm sure 411 knows this. He has a defensive background, so I know, that's why. And I think that's why Seattle went defense is, hey, Mike Macdonald, new head coach, like you said, coming from the Ravens. So I know the Rams is definitely going to be looking at Seattle pick, because I have a feeling that even if Seattle went Byron Murphy, they might have went Jared Verse if he's still available. So I think the Rams pick is going to be based on how the Seahawks pick a few picks before that.
Yeah, definitely be paying attention to that. And by the way, I'm glad Aaron Donald is now gone.
I'm sure you're
Yeah.
not shedding tears on that. So,
Yeah. All right. So it's showtime. Kobe Cole from the low. Your Steelers are up.
he's been waiting patiently.
All right, for my Steelers, we can go different ways here. We can go offense, we can go defense. We got the addition of Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. So our quarterback room is pretty deep right now. We added some additions. We took one dude from the Atlanta Falcons. We took Cordell Patterson.
Oh wow.
So we picked up. Also got the Atlanta Falcons head coach as our OC. So we added little different things here and there. But as my pick going forward, I was thinking, do I want to go defense, go to the secondary? Do I want to go offense? We got to protect Russell Wilson while we can. And in the future, we got to protect Justin Fields. So I'm going to go Troy, make sure I say this right, Troy Fatanu, offensive tackle, Washington.
Washington, solid pickup.
Very, very
Wow.
good pick. And for him to still be out there, because that was another thing. The Saints, they were on his list, but the Penn State guy was there. But yeah, Troy still be there. Great offensive tackle, and the Steelers, your team, they're starting to build that line, and you got to. And Russell Wilson has been known to be sacked quite often, as I'm sure.
Yeah.
A former Seahawks or a current Seahawks fan can attest to, so to definitely to have Faitanu still on the board, solid pick. Steelers can't go wrong with that.
No, that's an excellent pick. Excellent pick. You want to pick for Miami, Cole?
Miami Dolphins. Well, we all know that with the Dolphins, they have elite speed.
Mm-hmm.
They have a very good defense. They just need them extra keys just to get there to the playoffs, get to the Super Bowl. So for Miami, I think some help on their offensive line for them also to keep Tua safe, for him to get the ball to Waddle, Hill. So for Miami, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name. I'm gonna go offensive tackle, Penn State.
Oh, he's already off the board.
Oh, he's off the board.
Yeah, the Saints drafted him.
Yes.
Yeah, for shot for Samu. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, didn't pick that. Sorry.
It's okay.
Go my next best guy.
See, that's the good thing about this draft. There's plenty of offensive linemen that people can.
Yeah. Yeah, it's deep offensive line.
So now I'm going to my next guy. I had a backup just in case. Let me just double check that he's not off the board. Okay, we're good. Oklahoma.
Good Guyton.
Yeah, Tyler Guyton.
Yeah. Solid pickup.
Yeah, let me tell you, Two's going to be happy about that pick because, and anytime you can have a little bit longer time to throw to Tyreek Hill, to Waddle, that and let me tell you, A-Chain's going to be happy because Tyler Guyton, man, that Juker is a road grader. All right. So, hey, Oklahoma, this Oklahoma product posted the second lowest blown block percentage in the offensive tackle class this past year. He is, they comp him to Lane Johnson, who, I'm sure the Philly fan on this podcast can agree has been a pretty good pick. On the line. So yeah, great backup. I'm sure Tua Tagovailoa will be loving that pick.
Very good.
Oh man, and finally Randy. Been waiting patiently.
Oh, I've been waiting patient, man.
And I can't wait to see who he comes up with.
Oh man, I'm torn. I got two guys, man. My squad, we need corner help because Brad Berry. Oh my god.
Oh wow, yeah.
Oh gosh, I still see that him getting burnt by the rookie in Seattle. And then we need pass rushing assistance after trading away Hassan Reddick. So I'm kind of torn, but the biggest need is at corner, and there's still one more. Well, there's
Yeah.
a couple more elite corners, but he's a little light. I think they can bulk him up, but he was one of the fastest corners. Good hand eye, hip flex. I mean, the guy is super fast, man. Mr. Nate Wiggins, Clemson.
Ooh.
Yes,
Ooh.
Clemson Tiger. Let's
And what's crazy,
go.
the guy will be 21 at the start of the 2024 season, so super young too. So he definitely can definitely grow into the position. But yeah, he's got great analytics. So yeah, I think that's a great pick, especially if you need cornerback. Which,
Yeah.
as you said, the Eagles
Philly
definitely
needs corner.
yeah. So I enjoyed that pick as well.
Absolutely. All right. That's very good. So 22. Oh man, we down to the last 10 picks
That's
here.
right. Yeah.
And so what we can do is we can just do like a little speed round and knock them out. And then we can review them later.
Okay. Well, hey, the Los Angeles Chargers, what do they need help with? Well, Mike Williams gone, Keenan Allen gone. Well, they boasted their offensive line, so I think they're going to give Justin Herbert some more weapons. And I think we hadn't heard a wide receiver off the board in a while, so that means we can start in the next tier. And I think the Los Angeles Chargers, with that second pick that they acquired with their draft pick, remember they got an extra first round draft pick. The Chargers will go with Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver, another LSU product. And I think they got that. Yes, they spent an early draft pick in Quentin Johnson last year. I think they're going back to the well to like I said, they lost Mike Williams. They lost Keenan Allen. So, yeah, I think, Brian Thomas Jr., hey, folks, that guy can run. As well, so he put it this way, you want to comp. They said he ran faster, and people remember, than Tavon Austin, the speedster out of the Rams. But guess what?
Yeah, that was
Weighs 35 pounds more. So a bigger, faster wide receiver. The Rams, the Chargers love big, fast guys. So that's why I think they'll go after the LSU product and Brian Thomas Jr.
very good.
Yeah.
All right. Man, this will be fun. I will Philly Red Zone. Would you draft a cowboy? Oh, Philly Red Zone's gone. All right, calculator.
Hey,
Dallas is up.
That Dallas, Jerry Jones he's just not going to be able to, contain himself. I think they need offensive line health because they're not getting any younger on the offensive line. But no, he's going to play it smart. I think he's going inside line, inside because you have guys that you're going to need. Their offensive line is getting older. Yes. They need a running back, but they're not going to draft a running back early. Nobody drafts running backs early unless they're special anymore. So I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to, try and solidify the inside offensive lineman, and I think they're going to go Graham Barton out of Duke. I think a lot of people thought he might have went to Pittsburgh, but I think with Pittsburgh seeing that offensive tackle on the board for Washington, that's why they jumped on him. So that pushed Graham Barton down. And you know who's upset about that? The Packers. Because
they would go draft a line.
They wanted Graham Barton big time. They had him already, they were calling him on the phone, but hey, Dallas Cowboys still had to pick. So I think that's when Green Bay is going to go back. Hey, what does Green Bay do? Green Bay's next on the board. Green Bay loves defensive players. So if they're not going to get to be able to solidify their offensive line, I think they're going to go cornerback. Now, they wanted the cornerback that Philly got, Nate Wiggins, but they had a backup. His name is Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Get your cups out.
Yes, sir. Cornerback out of Alabama, another product. He can play man-to-man. He can play zone. He's actually finished as Pro Football Focus's fourth highest graded cornerback this past year, ahead of Terrion Arnold before the season started. Allowed a sub 50% complete rate in coverage, highest coverage snaps per target, 11.7, which is a strong indicator teams do not throw his way. So hey, if people were choosing to throw against the guy that went ahead of him in Terry and Arnold, that means Kool-Aid has some skills. So I think the Green Bay Packers will go back to their defensive roots and get Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Solid pick.
Yeah, that's solid, man. That's very good.
Yeah.
We look at, I mean, and the name
The
is
only
cool
thing,
too.
the only thing with him is, he's coming off of that foot injury. That's the only thing with Kool-Aid that kind of pulled me off of him. I mean, we went through the whole Sidney Jones, Achilles, and we drafted him anyway, and then that kid was never like really the same. But Kool-Aid, man, he can play ball. He can play ball if he stays healthy. I mean, the guy's solid.
Yeah. All right, we're with the Tampa Bay Bucks now. What does Tampa Bay need?
Okay, well, if
Pass
people
rush.
say, yeah, I believe that is said very well.
Oh, some pass rushing. Yep. Oh, calculator, are you muted?
No, can you hear me? Here, let me.
Okay,
Yeah, we
say
can hear
okay.
you.
Go ahead now. Okay.
Okay. Now, well, but see, the bad thing, even though they need pass rush, what hurt them is they really wanted Jared Verse, but you know who they actually eyed that I thought would fall to them? Chop Robinson. I think the Chop Robinson going as high as he went kind of put them to think of. So I actually think Tampa Bay is going to go interior offensive line because another one of their weaknesses beside pass rush, they could not run block. Rashad White, fantasy football owners can tell you, Rashad White got no love from the interior offensive line for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I think they actually going to switch gears since the Chop Robinson and the Jared Verses and the Dallas Turners are no longer available. I think they're going to go with Jackson Powers Johnson, which is the second rated interior offensive lineman out of Oregon. So I think that'll bolster their interior of the line, which they need help on, and they sorely needed. Rashad White will be toasting people, his family, saying, "Hey, look for my things next year." So yeah, I think they're going to be happy with Jackson Powers Johnson.
Yeah, Jackson.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's solid man, solid guy. He was rated the number one center in college football, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and he can play guard. He's so
Yeah.
versatile. But yeah, he is the top rated center. So that's actually what he could. So, but yeah, him being so versatile is why he's going to go in the first round because he checks all the boxes. So if people watch football, they know offensive line play. Those guys get injured every game. Of course, why not? They're hitting other 350 pounders every single play. So yes, if you got a guy that can play any position, especially center, that is definitely a thing. So that's why I think Tampa Bay will switch gears and go with Jackson Powers Johnson.
Yeah.
Great pick.
Hey, yeah, it is. It is. Now look, Arizona, right? They're drafting Harrison, right? Pretty much going to get Harrison Jr. So they got their weapon on out wide. Do they need help on the line?
They do, but actually, Mr. 401, I think the slide stops. I think they say enough is enough. They said we've seen the medicals come back good. We're going to take a guy that could have went almost top 10 if it wasn't for his injuries. So I think Arizona is going to say, hey, now's the time to take Latu, the edge rusher out of UCLA. They're going to take a chance. Hey, you can take chances. That is why that trade last year was so valuable, so that they could get an extra first round pick this year. And I think they're going to use that as a, hey, we're going to use that draft capital, and this is why we can take a chance, is because we made that trade last year to trade down. So that's why I think they're just going to take the best player available at the time, even though offensive line is always a need for the Cardinals. I think they're going to take the best player available. They're going to take an edge rusher. You can never have too many edge rushers. So I think the slide stops, and I think Cardinals take advantage of that draft capital they obtained last year and take Latu, the edge out of UCLA.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a great pick. It's a great pick.
I
My
mean,
God.
and
6'5",
I'm sure.
265.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and he can put some pressure on some quarterbacks.
yeah,
Man.
yeah. I mean, they get
Okay, well,
a good 3 to 4 solid seasons out of him. I mean, that pick was well spent. I mean, sheesh, to get that guy that type of talent so late in the draft. I mean,
all right. What about Buffalo, guys?
Well, if everybody know, if you are a um a fantasy football player, and you probably saw that every wide receiver for Buffalo is not there this year.
Yeah.
Gabe Davis traded, Stephon Diggs traded.
Trade.
So I think they're going to dip into the wide receiver, and actually the top two wide receivers on the board are actually at Texas. So I think they're going to go with Xavier Worthy on this pick, just because he doesn't want a typical Brandon Bean doesn't want a typical number one receiver. So yeah, Xavier Worthy doesn't look like an X, but he fits a role that is nice that could fit with Josh Allen. I think personally the other wide receiver, Adonai Mitchell, is the better overall wide receiver prospect, but I think that Buffalo loves the fit of a Xavier Worthy to Josh Allen over Mitchell. So that's why I think they'll go with Xavier Worthy with their pick, wide receiver out of Texas.
Yeah, they definitely need to. They definitely need to go receiver. I mean, that there's no question about that. Josh Allen's going to need some help out there,
Yeah.
and so they got to get some young blood out there, and basically, start anew because there was a lot of back and forth right with Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of rumors about Diggs and not getting along, et cetera, et cetera. So they're a clean slate, good team, and so if you're gonna retool at a position quickly, I think receiver is one of those that you can do that at.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, did he not run a 4.2 at the combine? I mean, it's one of the fastest combines since old Chris Johnson back in the day could run at the combine. So the guy can absolutely fly, and we know Josh Allen can just throw it through the roof. So I think that's why I think they'll go for the faster receiver rather than the more polished receiver for Josh Allen.
Absolutely. Okay. Lions and Ravens. You want to help us out there, Philly Red Zone?
oh man, for the Lions, they need safety help. They lost C.J. Garner-Johnson to the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm gonna have fun saying this name, and I'm gonna use my Philly touch on it. So excuse me, Mr. Cooper DeJean.
Love. Hey, let me tell you, he is the coach for Detroit, hard nosed, and that's what Cooper DeJean is. Out of the Iowa pedigree, he's tough, but he can play safety. He can play nickel corner. He can play pretty much positions, and that's what and that is exactly what Detroit needed was help in that secondary. So yeah, I was surprised he was still on the board. But if you think about it, because Green Bay was eyeing Dijon as well, thinking
Yeah.
they might have left early, but since Kool-Aid was there, so all these cornerbacks are actually falling in the order of how they're rated. Detroit's not going to pass him up if Cooper DeJean is still on the board.
I mean, you got to like the 6'1", 207.
Oh yeah.
And you know what I'm saying, also can return the ball if necessary. So
And
he's versatile.
and Mr. 401, how many times did we take the under on Iowa college football games on
Oh my God.
CTL last year? and it was because
Every week.
Dijon, that's right. And it's because Dijon was on that was part of that awesome Iowa defense that kept him in game after game.
That's right. Crossing the lines
Yes,
on
sir.
One Network. Yep. Great show there. I do say myself. But yeah, great show. All right,
And
man. Good job there. Who you got for the Ravens?
for the Ravens, I mean, their defense is just solid, man, across the board. They don't need no defensive help. But that offense, man, they need some more juice and they need some speed. Flowers is the speed underneath. They need somebody to take the shot over top, man. So I like that other receiver. I can't remember his name out of Texas.
Adonai
The other.
Mitchell.
There you go. That's the guy. I think they at this spot. That's a good pickup because if you wait for the second round, he's going to be gone. Probably
Oh,
in the top 4 picks in the second
yeah,
round.
because if Adonai Mitchell is available, Kansas City would be picking him.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm
with the
saying. He's not going
quickness.
to be there.
Yeah, so that's why, and that's one reason a lot of people are talking about Baltimore trading back. If they need that wide receiver, they're going to have to take Adonai Mitchell now because he won't be available later.
Nah, he won't be available.
Yeah, now you see everybody in Kansas City be upset because
Yeah.
they thought Adonai Mitchell's fallen. The Cowboys didn't pick him; he's fallen, and then Baltimore reaches up and takes him.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the two teams that play in the Super Bowl, they are our next two selections here. So we'll start with the runner-up in the Super Bowl, the 49ers.
Well, I'll go with that if you don't mind. I think what they're going to do is I think they're going to take offensive line just here because Brock Purdy, you're never going to go wrong with depth on the offensive line. We talk about people, so you want to and hey, they got the receivers. They got the running back McCaffrey.
Yep.
Got a solid defense. But I think, and I'm going to stay, and I wish Brooks was on there because he could actually give you more breakdown on this guy. Because I'm going to the Georgia offensive line. Hey, Marius Mims, offensive tackle, right? Yeah, he's inexperienced, views mostly as a right tackle, but hey, he has enough upside that would get the 49ers to take a chance and, to invest more into protection of Brock Purdy. So even though Jordan Morgan has been rising up draft boards, the offensive tackle for Arizona State, I think the 49ers are going to go with the upside because that's Marius Mims, inexperienced, but great upside. So that's why I think the 49ers say, hey, we're going to take the upside over Jordan Morgan and go with Amarius Mims for Georgia.
Bro, 6'7", 340 pounds.
Yeah, that's beast mode.
Yeah.
Taking up some space there.
Yeah, a lot of space.
So not bad there. Will another Bulldog go with this pick?
It will. You must have been reading my mind. And the only reason it's like this, I'm not a homer. I'm just a realist. The Kansas City Chiefs had first off, they wanted Xavier Worthy. They wanted the fast Texas wide receiver as well. He was gone. They say, okay, we'll fall back and get Adonai Mitchell, the other Texas wide receiver. He's gone. So they're going to say, okay, now they're going down the board and say, who is the fastest wide receiver still left on the board? And guess what, folks? He is out of Georgia. Lad McConkey. Yes. Kansas City needs they still haven't had the stretch the field guy. Mecole Hardman, hey, great guy, but we saw him more of a gadget guy, more of a, and he could take really not solid hands on deep balls. Lad McConkey, just the opposite. Hey, still out of the Georgia Georgia mold, but he's fast. Hey, he was a little banged up this year, but when he was on the field, you had to pay attention. Hey, Ohio State still remembers what McConkey did to them 2 years ago. So yes, I think they need another receiver. Still trying to fill that Tyreek Hill void. So that's why I think they'll go with Lad McConkey with this pick, with the last pick in the first round.
All right, how you feel about that pick, Philly Red Zone?
I mean, I like the pick. I mean, that guy can play. I mean, he's a football player. The only guy that's a close second with that style of play is out of Florida. I think it's Ricky Pearsall.
Yes, Pearsall.
Yeah. But I like McConkey, man. He's a solid football player, man. Solid.
Just has to stay healthy.
Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely.
I mean, I mean, you got one of the best quarterback right now throwing you the football. So just catch it.
Yeah, and don't forget the head coach in the system. I mean, you fall into a great spot. Yeah, with Andy. I mean, you fall into a great spot.
You got Hollywood Brown. I mean,
and Reed as your offensive core, as your coach. I mean, McConkey, that'd be a great spot for McConkey.
Yeah. Yeah, and they still got the Rice kid. Unfortunately, he's dealing with some issues, but
And that's why,
yeah,
and that's why I think they're going to spend another pick at receiver as well. Like you said,
yeah,
the Rashid Rice issues going on as well. So yeah, that's why I think they're going to pick a wide receiver. It's just a matter of which one falls to them at 32.
yeah, yeah.
State Farm is the same colors, the red and white. I mean, and then you also have the quarterback on the State Farm commercial. So I mean, this all makes sense to get that insurance at receiver.
Yeah.
So great pick there for the Chiefs. Man, to be the Super Bowl champion and then get a player, an impact player, that you're living well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Living well.
yeah.
Oh, Larry Stone Cold. Final question.
Yes, sir.
Is there one name on this list that stands out to you who is NFL ready to start and make an impact that we should look to draft in our fantasy leagues?
We talked about him at the beginning. Best prospect to come wide receiver in the past 5-6 years, Marvin Harrison Jr. Folks, I'm drafting him on my fantasy leagues, even if early. So if you don't get him, you snooze, you lose, folks. Because you're in the league with me, he is going to be on at least one of Calculator's 11 teams. I will get no matter. But hey, 411, we're going to have to draft early because we got to get him while his value's up. Because let me tell you, after the draft, they're going to see Kyler Murray licking his chop. They're going to be seeing the off-season short videos of him doing 10-yard cross.
Yeah, buddy.
Kyler Murray, he's going to fly up fantasy draft boards. But yes, this guy is legit, folks. He came out of Ohio State, and they said he was better than Garrett Wilson and Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Olave.
Yeah, Olave. Yes, thank you very much. I mean, all those, they said Marvin Harrison Jr. was the real deal coming out of high school. So when you're in that room and you were splitting snaps with other first round receivers at Ohio State, you got some skills. So yes, folks, for all the people that listen to our fantasy podcast, we will be talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. in our wide receiver workup.
Absolutely. And there it is, the 4-1 Sports Fantasy Football Show. It kicks off in August. And then we have the draft at the end of August. And that show goes all the way through the season. So be ready for that. Again, big shout out to Malik and DJ Wiz. Make sure you check out DJ Wiz Productions. Make sure you do that. Make sure you check out Code from the Low. And Code from the Low, he has his shows on the on YouTube. So don't forget Code from the Low. Big shout out to Code. He was on here earlier today.
Yeah,
we have
he waited patiently for that pick, but he was happy when he got him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Surge TV. We are also simulcast on Surge TV. So this show that's currently going on is also on Surge TV, and you'll be able to check us out on what they call that thing, Hulu. You'll be able to check us out there pretty soon.
Okay.
So get ready to check us out. We moving everywhere now, folks. Mr. 411, TikTok, MISTER FOURONEONE. Mr. 411, there's the QR code. Make sure you check us out there. A lot of videos out there. There's going to be a lot of videos chopped up from this episode that's going to be on there as well. Larry Stone Cold was holding his.
He even did an advertisement, didn't
he? He already did the commercial just by showing up on the show. Didn't say anything. Didn't say anything, calculator. But check out. But JD Lamps, check out JD Lamps and more home decor 478-361-1044. You also can follow JD Lamps and more home decor on Facebook. As you can see, she is working her butt off to save the environment. She uses bottles. I'm talking about those Crown bottles, those Crown Royal. We save those Crown Royal bags, but we don't save those bottles. Make sure JD Lamp get them, and then she makes magic with those things and other bottles as well. So she's doing great work there. And as you saw with Larry with his prize, check us out also on Instagram at Mr. 411. That's the same way you're gonna find us on TikTok as well. So man, got all those in, and definitely appreciate Philly Red Zone hanging in there from start to finish, calculating.
And Philly, I always that's one of the reasons I love this show. This show as well. Every year, I get to talk to Philly for a little
Yeah.
bit. So it's always
Oh yeah,
Appreciate it.
always enjoy
Likewise,
having
fellas.
you.
Likewise.
yeah. It's that time of year, right? The
Yep.
most wonderful time
Yep.
of the
Yes.
year.
I know. It's my
For you two.
Christmas.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate everybody. Earl making his picks,
Yes.
submitting his. Kobe again, Cole from the low, Philly Red Zone, Spivey, submitting his picks as well.
Dr.
Malik,
Sachs. Don't forget
Dr.
Dr.
Sacks.
Sachs with his
You
voiceover.
can't forget Dr. Sacks. You know, he said his voiceover sucked. I thought he did a fine job,
He did. He
but
did
you
good.
know, yeah, he did a good job there. And again, can't forget that Raiders, the marching band and everything for the pick for Penix. So yeah,
And the show.
that was the
Brooks.
first.
Yeah, and Brooks showing with his in depth. That's why I wish he'd have stayed on, because I'd have loved to see his breakdown of those Georgia players flying off the board at the end of the draft. He could have broke them down a little bit more.
Oh yeah, but you
Well,
know,
we probably
he
don't have
also
time
has
on the show for him to go that in depth. So
he does have a show called Damn Good Dogs, which is
okay,
also
yep,
on the
yep.
Sports One Network. So we can get that in there too. Maybe we can submit a request to have him break some of those picks down in even deeper there. So yeah, we can't wait for that too. Man, that's everything, gentlemen.
Everything.
We have to do the review, so
Yep.
we'll get together. I'll get with y'all agents, you know what I'm saying,
Okay.
and I'll talk with them and try to get that scheduled so we can do the review. The NFL draft is this Thursday. We'll check that out, go from there. Make sure you all hit the like button, subscribe, to share, notification bell, and going back to share, because sharing is caring. Not only sharing here and sharing what's on TikTok, Instagram, and on 41 Sports World Network on YouTube, but also just sharing with anybody out here. You know, you think about that when on your daily journey. You know, what can you share with the next person? You know what I'm saying? Calculator, Philly Red Zone just shared all that football knowledge with us today, and definitely appreciate that. So that's it, gentlemen.
Oh,
Any parting shots before we roll?
Man, solid show. I enjoyed
Yes,
it, man.
I
I
always
really
enjoy it.
enjoyed it. Yes,
There's two
yes,
things I enjoy the show, but I also enjoy the research that we put
yeah,
into the show, because that's the fun part as well, you know. And
yeah.
and the more research you put into it, it makes the draft more fun, because then you're just like, oh man, this guy, I just talked about who he falls to me, but then you could get the disappointment, and then you start going to
Yeah, like I
backups.
did.
Yeah, like you did. There you go. That's why we do it. So, but yeah, that's why I enjoy it, and I appreciate for one, I appreciate all the work you put into it, getting these picks, setting up the group chats, the production show, so we can get together and get this off without a hitch. So, just shout out to you and your production crew. Appreciate all the work y'all put into it.
Yeah,
All
salute
right, we
y'all.
appreciate that. All right. Nice hat there, Philly Red Zone.
Appreciate it. Kelly Green.
Yeah, that's the old Randall Cunningham,
Yes, sir.
Clyde Simmons. Yeah, bring back all those guys. Mike
Yeah,
Quick.
yeah. Reggie White. Let's go.
Oh, there we go.
All right. Except Jordan. Yeah, let me
Yeah,
keep going.
definitely.
All right, but yeah, this is fun, man. I had a great time, man. I appreciate you guys doing it. So for Philly Red Zone, for the calculator, I'm just 4-1. We are out of here. Have a great day.
See ya.
Great rest of your night.
Good night.